Get ready. We are about to embark on a journey of expansion and opportunity as we dive into episode 65 of Twitchy Tuesdays. Today, we are going to be diving deep into Jupiter in Gemini, the biggest event in May, arguably. So big that he got his whole own ass episode here, completely dedicated to him. We'll talk about elastic paradise and what that means in the Zodiac Spotlight. Then we'll do a bunch of different charts and chart chronicles that will take us all the way through August and end, as always, with the Twitchy Tip of the week. Today is all about unlocking the doors to new possibilities, broadening our horizons, and embracing the spirit of curiosity and exploration that Jupiter and Gemini brings. Let's go ahead and get started with cleaning out the broom closet. We got a week this week. That 23rd is stacked. Let's talk about it. For those that are new to my channel, welcome. For those that have been here before, thank you for joining me again. 521, Mercury in Taurus will trine Juno in Virgo at 8 degrees, 50 arc minutes. And then we get to the 22nd and the 23rd. So this is going to be Wednesday and Thursday, and the energy is just kind of compounded. There's a lot of things that happen in a very quick 48-hour time span. So the 22nd, Venus in Taurus will oppose Pallas Athene retrograde in Scorpio now at 28 degrees, 16 arc minutes. Then the sun in Gemini, newly in Gemini, happy solar returns to all the Geminis out there. We'll trine Pluto retrograde in Aquarius at 2 degrees, 1 arc minute. That is right. Anything that is in Gemini while Pluto is in Aquarius will create a trine as it enters. So that is good energy to think about. And then we end the 22nd with Vesta in Cancer. They're just not, they were talking a lot before we got into this episode. So now they're like, nope, this is enough. Y'all gotta figure that out. Vesta in Cancer will trine Saturn in Pisces at 18 degrees, 15 arc minutes. Then we head to the 23rd. So the 23rd starts, I know it got kind of squished, but it starts with that Venus conjunct Jupiter in Taurus, 29 degrees, 23 arc minutes. Mwah. I love this. I love this conjunction, first of all, both of our benefics. I love that it happens right before both Venus and Jupiter get into Gemini, and it happens in Venus's home sign. It happens in a wonderful placement for Jupiter, and it happens right before the Sagittarius full moon. So you want to go check out episode 64 right before this, where we talk about this Venus conjunct Jupiter. We talk about the Sagittarius full moon in length. Also on the 23rd, Venus in Taurus will then sextile Neptune in Pisces, like a smidge right after that at 29 degrees, 30 arc minutes. And then the Sagittarius full moon happens. Oh, what a moon. The moon that we need. Sagittarius full moon. So excited at 2 degrees, 55 arc minutes. Then Venus immediately gets into Gemini, and Jupiter in Taurus then sextiles Neptune in Pisces, 29 degrees, 31 arc minutes. It is a wonderful day. So that is the 23rd. Lots of energy, still a lot that's kind of happening, and it's a little bit shifting, and it's like, whoa, okay, what's happening here? But still such a beautiful day. And then we have the 24th with nada, no direct aspects. So that is a great day of integration. The great day to, if it was such a packed day on the 23rd with everything going on, that you can really honor that full moon. You can really honor Venus and Gemini. You can honor the conjunction. Maybe that conjunction just like massive good news came in and you need a day to just like process it all. Then on the 25th, Venus in Gemini will trine again. Remember, every time something gets into Gemini, immediate trine to Pluto retrograde in Aquarius. 1 degree, 59 arc minutes, and Jupiter in Gemini. This is it. This is what this whole episode's about. That happens on the 25th. 25th is a Saturday. I mean, yes, we love that. We love that on Saturn's day. Let's get Jupiter in Gemini. Then on the 26th, Mars in Aries will square Vesta in Cancer, 19 degrees, 48 arc minutes. And we round out the Twitchy week with Mercury in Taurus sextiling Saturn in Pisces, 18 degrees, 33 arc minutes. And that will occur on 5/27. Woo, finally got something out here. Queen of Wands. Look, I'm telling you, they were just dropping cards right before this. And here we are with the Queen of Wands. Like powerful, impactful, um, action-oriented energy that I mean, I just see this sunflower and I just immediately heard like the sun is shining this 23rd, this Venus conjunct Jupiter, this Sagittarius full moon, this Venus and Jupiter getting into Gemini, the sun already being in Gemini, like the sun is shining on us. Things are like this is the moment where we can, like the sunflower, turn our face to the sun and really absorb all of the benefic, all of the beautiful, all of the sovereign energy that is placed there. We've got this moment of we've got this moment of breath. We've got this moment of support. We've got this moment of let's get out and make our kingdom everything that it can be before the next thing happens, which the next thing is going to happen, right? We are working our way to August. August is a month. So we are working our way to August. There are going to be things that are on the horizon, but for right now, let's enjoy. Let's sit on our throne. Let's enjoy. All right, let's head over now to the Zodiac Spotlight. Jupiter and Gemini. Here we are. Let's talk about it. Let's get into this elastic paradise that is Jupiter and Gemini. So, when I was yesterday, as I was kind of putting this episode together, I was thinking about, all right, what are some words that, describe Jupiter? And there's a lot of them, right? Optimism, expansion, um, you know, options. There's a lot of different words, but one in particular caught my eye when I was kind of, doing the synonym thing, and it was the word elastic. And I love that. I love that so much that it just, I mean, I couldn't stop it from just pinging back and forth in my head. Like, that's it. That's the word for this Jupiter in Gemini. So, Jupiter will be in Gemini until June 9th, 2025. He will do one retrograde here. That will occur in October of 2024. So, when Jupiter gets into Gemini, it is full steam ahead until October of 2024. So he's going to go and when I say go, when planets get into Gemini, they tend to move faster. Now, there are years where Gemini has very prominent energy and where it feels like it's a lot of Gemini energy due to retrogrades and everything. But typically, planets ingress into Gemini and they just catch that wind, that air, and they go. So Jupiter will be direct, moving quickly from now until October. In fact, he'll get to 20. I want to say his retrograde is going to be at like 21 degrees. So it is full steam ahead. Then he'll retrograde back and then he'll finish out his journey through Gemini all the way up until June 9th, 2025. So the last time Jupiter's on about a 12-year cycle. So the last time that he was in Gemini would have been 2012 to 2013. What a vastly fucking different world that we lived in, right? 2012 to 2013. I mean, some of you that may be watching this were children at this time, right? Like just wee nuts, just, little teeny boppers. Um, but it was a different world. It was a completely different world. And so now Jupiter is coming back here into Gemini. And I got this word elastic that just fits so perfectly. And it is an elastic paradise, kind of capping that off. So, what does that mean when I talk about elastic paradise? Well, immediately, like Jupiter is grand and jolly. Like you gotta like Jupiter has this sort of like Santa Claus-esque archetype about it. It's big, it's jolly, It's got an abundance to it that it can spread around. It's a protector. It protects Earth from asteroids hitting us because it's so big that it kind of like gives us this wall of protection. Jupiter has a lot of really important jobs. And I mean, just optimism in itself is a gigantic job. But elastic, being willing to be adaptable, being willing to stretch, being willing to be flexible, being stretched in our mindset, being stretched in our thought processes, since this is Gemini, being stretched in our communication and what that turns out to be and how we mold and grow within our communication, being stretched to try new things, being stretched to look at things a different way. All of that is the elasticity that we are looking for when Jupiter gets into Gemini, elasticity of the mind. I mean, this truly is like, it reminds me of, there's so many different things going through my head, but the neurons and your, neurological pathways in the brain and how they can ebb and flow, become elastic. You can change them, you can mold them and lack of a better term, create new ones, manipulate the ones that you have. And elastic also being like, I keep getting this image of like elastic pants, like just being able to having those one pair of sweatpants or those one pair of pants that just no matter what is happening, they fit well, they feel good, they make you feel comfortable, they make you feel like you can take on the world and you can move forward with the world. So it's this time with Jupiter and Gemini. There's a lot of serious things that are coming up ahead. There's a lot of things that are we're going to continue to have to navigate through different energy cycles, even into 2025, especially that Jupiter is going to be able to provide that level of comfort, that level of elasticity, that level of, hey, I may not be doing much over here, right? Like there's not a lot of planets around me. I'm not making a lot of hard aspects, but I'm still here. And I'm here when it counts, which you'll see when we get into the chart chronicles. So, welcome to the pop off. Welcome to the pop off. As Jupiter gets into Gemini, we are going to be breaking away from that fixed, grounded, feminine energy of Taurus. That kind of, slow. Oh, yes. Hold on. We got some cards that fell. Well, we got the Three of Rods, Death, and the Hierophant. I mean, if this isn't Jupiter, right? If this isn't Jupiter, the one thing about this is this actually, because we are talking about Jupiter moving through. So Jupiter gets into, this is Jupiter and Taurus. So Jupiter gets into Taurus, right? Takes a look at the landscape. Here's Jupiter taking a look at the landscape in Taurus. Uranus has been here fucking shit up, doing all the things. Venus is here. We just had these massive Taurus clusters in here. And Jupiter is like looking at everything going, okay, what do I need to provide here? What level of optimism, what level of options, what level of and it like I'm hearing like slow trudging. Like what temperance do I have to have? I know temperance didn't fall, but it's like tempering that need to, oh my gosh, everything has to happen right now. It's like Jupiter can come in and just be like, okay, hold on. While Uranus is here doing this daft amount of fucking change, death card, and just trampling all the fuck over our world. I can still see the broader horizon. This is what Jupiter's gift is. I can see beyond. I can see the entire solar system from where I'm at, the entire Milky Way, what I have to work with. I can see a broader viewpoint as to why this is necessary. And I can help you walk through that. The Hierophant, I can help you understand it. The reason why, yes, this reminds me unequivocally of Jupiter, but the reason why it reminds me of Jupiter in Taurus is because this is sitting down right? A very receptive position, very feminine position. And it's not a position of action. It's not a position of, it's a position of like mentorship. It's a position of wisdom. It's a position of, let me impart what I know to you. Let me impart what I see, what I spy with my big ass eyes that's coming up in the horizon, where we're going. Let me give you these options. Let me show you why this trampling of your world is occurring and why it needs to occur. Let me get you on a better path and let me share that wisdom with you. So this is what Taurus has been doing um in excuse me, this is what Jupiter has been doing in Taurus for the last little bit here. And so once Jupiter gets into this elastic paradise, which is vastly different energy than this, right? This elastic paradise is not what we're seeing here. He gets to really begin to find flow. We're not trudging, we're not grounded, we find flow. Buoyancy is another great word. And this will be the last cluster of the year. So in Gemini, this is going to be the last major cluster that we see once things get moving through Gemini and starts heading and we get into the solstice and Cancer. And after that, yes, we'll have some planets groupings, but not like we've seen the beginning of this year. And that is going to take us through June. So this is, we've got a good month of this really strong and prominent Gemini energy. And it is fucking busy. Like, this is where it gets busy. The mental mind gets busy, the communication gets busy, you get busy, short term travel gets busy. Like, you can feel it. Like, I can feel it. I can feel like, oh, I want to go out. Oh, I want to go do this. Oh, I want to do that. Oh, okay, let's go have some fun. Let's get some, just seeing if there's any cards that want to fall for Jupiter and like, look, like, you're doing great. Keep going. All right, so it's busy. We are now in masculine action. And not only that, but we have a lot of planets supporting this masculine action. So we're in masculine action, masculine decision making that helps us to break free from mental limitations. It opens us up to mass amounts of solutions, choose the right options, helping us to choose the right options. And options are aplenty. And conceptualize the paths and choose the one or ones that we are going to go down. That is what all of this masculine energy in action and decision making is going to help ground in. It's the choices, it's the actions, it's the, all right, we've got options. Which one is the right one to go down? And allowing, oh, we got options. Ace of Cups. And making the ones that you know are right for you. So there's a lot that happens in Gemini with the exchange of information. I mean, this is a wonderful exchange, right? Here you are down here reaping the benefits of whatever is being brought forth from Taurus. This is a cup, this is emotional, this is that feminine energy. Whatever is being brought up, this water spilling down on, is this land? Oh, this is the pond, is doing nothing more but helping these lotus blossoms bloom, helping to provide nourishment, helping to provide life, helping to provide a better harvest. So as we get into, oh my gosh, look at that. I just totally watched a Y Files about the Knights Templar. Look at that with the coin right there. Bringing in ancient information, bringing in information, unlocking is another great. Like, here's like this dove up here reminds me of like the symbolism of your Ori, your higher self, bringing you nuggets of ancient wisdom that allows you to then move forward, unlocking secrets from the past, unlocking things that end up making your cup overfloweth and bringing it down into earth, bringing it down into your mental, into actionable actions and decision making processes that allow you to reap the rewards of this nurturance, of what is being gifted. But it's work, right? That's the thing is Jupiter is not our gift giver. Jupiter is not the gift giver. Jupiter can make things really, really big and make things very optimistic and make things helps with the manifestation process, that process of faith, the process that I know it's coming, the process that you are open to receiving. Jupiter expands all of that and puts it on level 10. But you have to make the choice to get the information, to be open to the information. There is work that you have to do in order to receive all of this, because this is happening. All of this water is coming down, all of these gifts are coming down. Jupiter will make sure everything is in your place. But if you choose not to see it because of the work that you are not doing, that is Saturn, the gifts can't come forth into your reality. You can't tangibly grab them and make use of them. So it's Saturn being the gift giver, where Jupiter opens us up to what potential gifts are out there. It is the work, the Saturn piece of it, which we will have squares to Saturn coming up in the chart Chronicles, that allows us to have this cuppeth overflow and actually benefit from whatever the energy is that's coming to us. I mean, the best day ever, right? Hello. I love this cup. Look at how cute. Tangled is my favorite. I'm just throwing it out there. Tangled is my favorite princess. I love Rapunzel. I love that whole movie. So, anywho's. All right. Exchanges of information, both internally and externally, become very, very rapid. So, like quick one-liners, getting straight to the point, getting to the point up in here, not really like trudging through, taking your time, thinking it all out. It's like, nope, we can do things a little bit at a quicker pace. Now, one thing to note is Jupiter is in his detriment. I know that sounds really like the fool. I know that sounds really foolish. Jupiter is such a big and massive energy. Like when we talk about Jupiter being in his detriment is totally different than other planets for sure. Um, but it means he's the farthest away from his home sign of Sagittarius. And what this is Jupiter being in his detriment in Gemini is more about, instead of being uncomfortable, instead of being restricted or like more challenging to access the energy that is present and being able to express fully, as it does in its home sign. Jupiter is just so big that it's kind of like, all right, this is where that elastic, right? We need these elastic sweatpants. All right, I got to fit into this like Gemini mold here, but I'm kind of cool with it, right? Like the big difference, and this is why the fool, I'm just sitting here holding this card like this, like, okay. Um, Jupiter in Gemini needs to fit into the desire in Gemini to do small, quick sprints over and over and over again versus gigantically long marathons like Jupiter is used to in Sagittarius. So it's the fool rapidly over and over and over again. It's diving into new ideas. It's experiencing new things. It's taking on new tasks quickly, getting them done quickly. Like look at this little bag. Look at this little bag. For some reason, like I grew up overseas near Australia, and the Kookaburra song is literally just playing over and over and over in my head. So I don't know if that's for somebody. Um, but this little, Joey pack right here, it's small. He doesn't have a lot of things in here. He's got what? 1, 2 days max? Maybe? Maybe? And maybe that's only food. Maybe you don't even have a change of clothes. So looking at this fool in this context, he ain't going for a long journey. And that's what Jupiter needs to be willing to mold into is not a 12-month excursion or a 3-month trip down to to Antarctica. This is more, hey, let's go to Austin. Let's go to Vegas. Hey, let's go to LA. Let's just do a quick like weekend trip. Hey, why don't we just go have lunch in New York City, right? It's very quick, very um I was going back to, sorry, like, whoa, that was a whole conversation happening. Um I was going back to, oh, small sprints versus long marathons. Right. So when I was feeling into this, I also got the image of the Tour de France. And the Tour de France is Jupiter, it's Sagittarius, right? It's long, it's multiple. I mean, it's multiple long um rides every day for a long period of time. That is Jupiter in Sag all day long. And Jupiter will get to Sag, like we've got some years before that happens, but Jupiter will get into Sag, where we are going to be able to take those really like long-term necessary things. But for right now, Jupiter is in Gemini, and that is getting on a stationary bike for 30 minutes every day. Just quick little sprints. That is what we are looking for. So you really do have to temper the energy to do short-term things versus taking a bunch of really long-term, very large projects. So as options begin to come into your space, here comes back this Ace of Cups, have that awareness. What are things that have short tails to them? What are things that can be done quickly and efficiently? What are your 5-minute things? Hey, I've got 20 projects that I see on my list today, 20 different tasks. Do the ones that are short and quick first, and then the ones that are like, okay, you know what? This is going to be like 4 months. Do I want to sign up for something like that? Is that what I need right now? Do I need 8 long-term projects when I can take on 15 short-term projects and really make use of the time that I have right now? These are the things that you want to weigh. Focusing on small commitments that you can do quickly and then replacing them with something new. So it is that regenerative cycle. I got the image of juggling as well. There was a lot, like Jupiter was bringing in all kinds of images. I got the images of juggling, right? To juggle, you don't need 8 balls. You can juggle with 8 balls. But you don't necessarily need 8 balls to juggle. Three will do. So 8 ball juggling, Jupiter and Sag. 3 ball juggling, Jupiter and Gemini. Then, as you're juggling, you can drop one of the balls and bring another ball in, and it's much easier to manage 3 doing that than it is 8. Rotate of fresh ideas and the things that you are doing. So let me try and get one more because maybe I don't need it. Maybe we don't need, I'm kind of feel we don't need it. But they're saying no. So this is what we were moving through just to double check in. 3 of Wands, Death, and the Hierophant. This is Jupiter in Taurus. And where we are going to is Jupiter in Gemini, Ace of Cups, and the Fool. And I love that the Fool here is looking at this Ace of Cups. The Fool knows what to do with all of those. He is going to make great use of those. Great use of those. Great use of those. Thinking of things in a new way, providing multitudes of options. I mean, there's one, two, three, there's five different fountains here, full change, full abundance, giving gifts down, accept and receive, accept and receive. So, a few things that I personally have been experiencing as Jupiter is getting closer to moving into Gemini. I am a Gemini rising. So, for me, this is going to be Jupiter, coming over my ascendant, which is always a huge blessing. And there's been a lot of things that have been occurring right around my ascendant. So, for me, I'm feeling this energy already. And what I truly am getting and just what I'm experiencing right now as Jupiter is finalizing himself in Taurus is this revved up need for truth telling and radical honesty. And maybe it's the exploration of what truth is for me right now. And I have already been down this journey of working on speaking my truth, being radically honest, not, rewriting my stories. That has been a whole vibe for a couple of years now, questioning myself on why I say things the way that I say them. Is that what I meant to say? If not, making sure that I'm rectifying that and speaking, it is okay to be like, wait, you know what? I did say that. Yeah, that wasn't right. Hold on, let me rework that. Really identifying again what is truth, what does truth look like for me today, not yesteryear, but what does it look like May 2024? What stories am I telling myself that are no longer accurate, and what is my relationship with the idea of truth? So everything is an energy, and truth has an energetic resonance to it. So, what is your relationship with truth? Your own truth, what truth you perceive, how are you flexible within your truth? How do you change your truth? Like there is a ebb and flow that comes in, and this is the gift of Gemini, right? It's there are always two sides to a story. There's always new information that can be found. Jupiter comes in and provides different options, different ways of thinking, mutable ways of thinking, not fixed ways of thinking. And what has your relationship with the idea of truth and how you share your truth? How has that changed over the years? And do you practice radical honesty? So these are things that I've also been exploring in my own, but maybe great questions if that's resonating with you that you want to begin to start to explore as Jupiter heads on his way. We're not there yet, obviously, into Gemini and begins to really seat himself in Gemini. But I want to talk a little bit about radical honesty before we move on to the chart chronicles. So, this is a phrase that was trademarked in 1997, and it's a technique and self improvement program based on the best selling book called Radical Honesty by Brad Blanton. So, you can go find that book. Um, but radical honesty in its own right is unlike the moral obligation to tell the truth. Radical honesty aims to reduce human suffering by promoting open communication and authenticity. So it's about acknowledging things exactly as they are. It's about acknowledging the fact that we all come to the table with biases, acknowledging the fact that emotions absolutely color everything that we do. And as we're looking at things and as we're trying to discover our own truth, that there's a lot of digging that needs to be done. There's a lot of, peeling back layers. There's a lot of questions that you need to ask yourself during that process. And so, when you're able to get to the point like, yep, this is exactly as it is, this is exactly what's happening, and you kind of have the lack or pretense of attachment to beliefs about what it should be, right? You're not in a state of denial, or shame about it or any of the other emotions that can layer into that, the less desirable emotions, um, you are then in a practice of radical honesty. So it's not just about avoiding lies, which that is a practice in its own right, even white lies. Like I will tell you, when you begin to do that work, it's fascinating the things that you just like programmally say without any pretext. And you're like, that was not fucking true. Why did I say that? So it's not just about avoiding those lies, it's about being transparent and present in the moment as much as you potentially and possibly can. So that's what radical honesty is. That's what I'm definitely feeling is a theme for me. If you share that theme, I'd love to hear about that in the comments and what kind of came up for you as we were talking through that. All right, let's head to some chart chronicles. Jupiter and Gemini. We have multiple different charts to talk about. I will say, I haven't looked at these charts in depth, so we are going to be growing and learning together. As we look at these charts, we may find some really interesting things like this one. Immediately, I'm like, oh, snap. There is a T square happening here. Didn't notice that. But we're going to be looking at the chart as Jupiter, which is what this one is, as Jupiter ingresses into Gemini. We'll look at Jupiter's conjunction with Mercury, Jupiter's conjunction with Mars in Gemini. Obviously, all planets, when they get into Gemini, planets, points, or luminaries will trine Pluto and square Saturn. So I also have the exact trine to Pluto and the exact square to Saturn as well flagged up. So let me just give me a moment to get all ready. All right. So all right, just to level set, what we are looking at today is charts up until August 2024. I didn't want to go out for the whole transit. That there's a lot that's occurring with Jupiter in Gemini. So I wanted to just take a little bite-sized chunk, a little bit to get us into a very, very transformative, very powerful month in August. August is a whole vibe, y'all. So, obviously, Jupiter will have more transits, excuse me, to be aware of after August 2024. But we're going to leave that for future Twitchy Tuesday episodes and also for the Astro-Vision 2024 course, which is free and you can get in there and we will talk all about it. But this gives us, I think, a really great foundation of what Jupiter is going to be working with over the next few months. So, this is the exact moment that Jupiter goes into Gemini, the 25th. We just talked about that. So, this is what you want to look for in your natal chart. Is this energy right here of Gemini? So, this is the glyph for Gemini. I'll just recreate it right here. It looks like the Roman numeral 2. Again, showing that duality. And this is where the energy is going to be concentrated over the month of June. So you see, we already have the sun right here. We have Venus right here. And then we have our great friend Jupiter at 0 degrees, perfect ingress into the sign of Gemini. So this is again right after Jupiter and Venus make their exact conjunction in the very last degree of Taurus. Venus will then go into Gemini, still conjunct Jupiter. This is still a very close conjunction. Jupiter will ingress into Gemini and then they will move on. Venus will obviously be going faster. And Jupiter won't meet up with the sun again. So until next year. So this is really a few days of this highly benefic, highly amazing, and highly loving energy of Venus and Jupiter that we get to work with. We not only get to work with it in the last degree of Taurus, which allows us to truly integrate and gain the Hierophant, gain the wisdom from what this Taurus clustery transit was of 2024, and bring it into the gifts and the expansion and the newness, the new energy of Gemini, which we have here with the Ace of Cups and the Fool. Look, Hierophant, we know what it is. Blessings pour down from the sky, right? So it's this beautiful transitionary period that lasts for a few days. So take advantage of that energy, because what I am seeing here, and I'm just going to get a different color, is this awesome T square right here. Let me make this a little thicker. This awesome T square with all of this energy concentrated on, surprise, surprise, Aries, where we have the North Node, Mars, and Chiron, 1, 2, 3, all in this mix of soup. Mars, the moment that Jupiter ingresses into Gemini, and the moment that Venus and Jupiter meet up, the moment of the moon, Mars is right at the great Chiron eclipse degree, activating Sirius over here in Capricorn, activating Vesta over here in Cancer. And so this is really like amongst this amazing benefic. Again, I'm coming right back here to this Hierophant. Actually, I'm feeling more of this Ace of Cups. This is goddess energy. This is wisdom energy. This is Vesta and Sirius energy of, what everything is going to take, right? There is dang, look at that exact square to Mars, challenging Mars to think about what is happening in a different way. And then Jupiter is here saying, let me give you all the other ways. Use me, Mars. I know where, like, you have to have faith in me. I know that we can't see each other, right? I know that we're not having a direct conversation, but you can use me as part of this. I've got other options for you. I've got that optimism for you. I've got the understanding for you. Like, you need to have faith. Allow that sunshine. Look at the sun up here. Look at the sun in Gemini. Allow that sunshine to shine down on your faith, on knowing that what you're doing and what you're going through, and the wisdom that you can gain from these gifts from on high, from the gifts from your Ori, from the gifts from ancient ancestry, ancient guides, those sorts of things, that they are valid and they are what you need right now to push through as you begin to continue to move through this energy, through this Chiron meetup that you're about ready to have. Okay. So that is when Jupiter, let me see if there's anything else yummy right here. Oh, obviously, yes. Jupiter is also trining right here immediately down to our friend. Now we'll look at the exact trine. That won't happen for a couple of days. But let's go, like, this is a budding trine right here. And obviously Venus just came off of her trine with Pluto. So we have that energy there. And just to give you an idea, this is going to be the square that is going to start occurring with Saturn later on down here. So this is an energy that we are going to be building up to that won't actually come to fruition until August. But as we move through June, July, that energy is going to start picking up. So just to be aware of it. Okay, let's go ahead. So we got Venus, let's talk about our friend Mercury real quick, because that's where we're going to head next. This is Mercury right here. Mercury is in Taurus, but is super zooming up to our friends in Gemini and will make it there. Mercury will enter Gemini on June 3rd. And Mercury and Gemini love. This means that we will have Taurus, Venus, and the Sun all in the sign that is ruled by Mercury, who's going to be in the same sign. And that June 3rd is just going to be like, hello, here we are, off we go. Let's make things happen. And Mercury always flies through Gemini. So he is going to get into Gemini on the 3rd and then will conjunct Jupiter the next day on 6/4, which let's go ahead and take a look at that chart really quick. So Jupiter conjunct Mercury. All right. So again, let me get back down to some. This is where we are looking at in the chart. This Gemini, all of the Gemini energy, that is where you get familiar with this placement in your chart. And here you see we have the sun. Look at that. I told you I hadn't even looked at these yet. So on the day that we have Jupiter conjunct Mercury, hold on, I don't like that. Let me do this. You would think that I would be so much better at working with a mouse pen. I am not. It's fine. But here is Mercury and Jupiter at 2 degrees, 12 arc minutes conjunct. Look at who else is conjunct. Venus and the sun. Now we're a little bit off. It's not the exact conjunction, but Venus is absolutely under the beams of the sun, about ready to make her Kazemi. This is literally on the same day. So we have both benefics getting in Gemini, getting this boost of energy on 6/4. So between 525 and 6/4, getting this insight, getting how you can make it, how you can make this even more abundant, how this can create such a beautiful pathway for you. What things need to be what again, masculine sign, and especially with Mercury here, who will take on, and Jupiter, who will take on a lot more, and the sun, who will take on a lot more of that masculine. Venus is there to temper and to receive the information, but the other, Mercury, Jupiter, the sun, and just the sign of Gemini overall, is there to now, again, what we talked about up front, is there to take action and make the decisions. Wonderful, wonderful day for decision making. Wonderful day to take that new. What is the new thing? If you look here, we've got the sun and Venus have this trine going on to the south node in Libra, making decisions on what, maybe there's a new partnership, a new venture that you're wanting to go down that has to do with other people or groups of people, being able to understand and, okay, well, did I do this in the past? There's something about the past coming up. How did I do it the last time? How can I make sure that it's better this time? You see also here, this is at 2 degrees. We've got Pluto at 1 degrees, trining. So still in that trine. That trine happens, actually, exact trine happens just a few days before this. This is 6/4. That trine will happen on the 2nd, which we'll talk about, but this energy is still very, very, very present. You can see we also still have the same damn conversation happening. This T square, what are we? And look, right? Everything is moving us in this direction. In what direction? The direction of our future, the direction of the North Node, where we are headed, our purpose. All of this energy, all of these combinations. I mean, there's so many combinations on this day. All of these combinations are here to get us to the next step, here to open up the next pathway forward, here to um, ensure that the decisions that we're making are nurturing wherever our destiny path is headed. We're not headed down some, random left pathway, which is fine because all roads lead to Zion, but we want to be on the golden gilded pathway. We want to be on the pathway that's going to bring in as much abundance as it can while we are doing our work. We want the pathway that Jupiter is expanding for us. That's the other thing too about Jupiter. Look, this is the Hierophant. Jupiter don't care what he expands. His goal is to expand. So, it's what path are you going down? What path do you want to go down? All right. So this is wow, that day. We will definitely talk about that in a future Twitchy Tuesday episode when we get to June. That is very exciting. Let's go ahead and take a look at the next one, which is going to be our trine to Pluto. Again, I wanted to just stick with the Mercury energy. So we're going a little back in time. So that conjunction with Jupiter and Mercury was on 6/4. The exact trine to Pluto occurs on June 2nd. And you can see it right here at 1 degree, 53 arc minutes. So let me paint this picture down here for you. So Jupiter's probably sitting somewhere over here. Obviously, the computer's got to like fit it all into this house. So I'm just going to make this exact line. Oop, let me make this better for you. Oop. Let's get a little thick line over in here. Bam. So yes, that line is there. But that is our exact trine. So you see Jupiter over here at 1 degrees, 53 arc minutes of Gemini. You see Pluto at 1 degree, 53 arc minutes retrograde in the sign of Aquarius. Man. All right. And here again, Venus 12 degrees, right? So she's got a couple of days under that beam of the sun, really, really cleansing and purifying her in her Kazemi with the sun. So, Jupiter trine Pluto. Jupiter in Gemini is going to really help Pluto. And, Pluto is going to do its own thing. And Pluto is going to be present in these Gemini energies, as Pluto, continues to do his work in Aquarius. Every time that we get strong Gemini pathways over the next 19, 20 years, Pluto will absolutely be there, kind of like, this is why I'm doing this. Let me help you understand why this is what needed to occur. Let me help give you some additional insight and information here. But in this context, I actually feel this as Jupiter in Gemini is helping Pluto in Aquarius really hone in on the understanding of he who holds the power holds the technology theme. That is a big theme for me. That's what I kind of pulled out. And again, it's a 20-year transit, so that theme may change. But the initial insert of Pluto into Aquarius, his initial seeding, has a very strong theme of he who holds the power holds the technology. Or he who holds the technology holds the power, whichever way you want to say that. Again, Gemini. Hello, you can look at that both ways. So I really truly feel like Jupiter in Gemini is helping Pluto um uncover, look at, digest, show different, um place optimism, um put things in place that can be very supportive and can be very worthwhile. Um opens up other options for that technology. So this could be something like a breakthrough in technology that was already started. And all of a sudden, this trine and these series of trines that is going to be happening over the next 2 years or over the next year, excuse me, um, that Jupiter's able to come in and be like, hi, so that had an application. This is how you originally thought you were going to use this technology. But guess what? There's 18 other things that you can use this technology for that might actually be better. And instead of being closed minded or so tight to the chest about, your work and your technology and where it's going, Jupiter can then help and allow you to be like, you know what, you're right. Maybe we do need to change tactics here. Maybe we do need to make these adjustments. Okay, that is here. I'm not being called to talk about anything else on this chart. Outside of you can start seeing, here we go. Look, here's that little square starting to bud right here. Okay, let's head over then to Mars. Let me get the chart up for that. All right. So this is Jupiter conjunct Mars. Oh, wait, we don't want that color. We want this color. As you can see now, we have no more clusters. So energy has now been spread. Again, we've got these onesie twosies all the way across the chart, but this is occurring in July, or excuse me, this conjunction's in August, but you can see from that June, like after June is done, we truly start to see a lot of the separation in the chart where we don't have this massive amount of stellium energy. So Mars will enter Gemini July 20th and will stay in Gemini till September 4th. So we have this Jupiter Mars co-presence. On August 14th, which is this chart exactly, Jupiter and Mars will conjunct at 16 degrees, 40 arc minutes of Gemini. Again, Gemini is going to get pinged first decan, second decan, and then as we get into the third decan, over and over and over. This you will know intimately once we get into August where Gemini is at in your chart and how this energy works with you. So there's a few things that are just amazing about this chart that I did know about ahead of time. So first off, right here, let me get this. Right here is our great friend Mercury station or in retrograde at 0 degrees of Virgo. So Mercury is retrograding from Virgo back to Leo and then we'll push forward. That will happen in August. I'm not sure the exact date, so I'm not even going to try to guess. However, what is important about this is holy cow, hello, we have him at 0 degrees of Virgo, about ready to take whatever ideas that were started, because remember, Virgo's that earth energy. Whatever things that you were working on, he's about ready to take that back into Leo. We saw him do this earlier this year, where he went from Capricorn back into Sag and then forward again. So it's this taking of tangible things that you're working on, bringing them back into a fire sign to create new desire from, or to rearrange, take the particles and rearrange them, and to rethink, to rewrite, and to get that desire bubbling up again. So that way you can take that desire and that energy and bring it forward into an earth sign to make something tangible of it, to harvest it, to bring it into reality. So that is what Mercury is doing. But at this exact moment, is this, all right, I'm about ready to drop back into Leo to get that desire. So to me, a lot of this, because we do have this square with Saturn, we do have what else is happening in this chart? I mean, we've got, Medusa and or Algol and Uranus right here, like all sextiling. Neptune, there's a lot here about past ideas, and I'm even going back to this Ace of Cups with the, gifts from the universe from way back in June and way back in May. It's these old ideas, old timelines, not necessarily maybe for you, but maybe for your ancestry, potentially from um past lives, those sorts of things, whatever ancient knowledge you're gaining or did gain during this time, this is that moment where you can go back and go, all right, with Mercury retrograde, with this Gemini, and go, all right, I've been, got all of this ancient wisdom. I started practicing some of these things. I now no longer want this, or this isn't serving me anymore, or I need to change it. Or, you know what, because of the way things are today, I have to make these sorts of adjustment because I live in the diaspora. I have to make these sorts of adjustments to what traditionally my ancestors would have used. So I get this, like these old ideas, there's something that then can be changed in them. Now, a big thing with this energy of Jupiter and Mars never met up in Taurus. They skipped Earth all fucking together. They met up in Aries the last time, and that was in 2022. So, what desires, what ideas, what energetics, what things, Fool, got started in 2022 that now, again, we skipped all of this fixed bullshit. We skipped all of that, that you can now, again, with these old ideas, that you can now bring into Gemini masculine energy, high masculine energy to make a decision on. Did you have this desire? And this is, I'm just gonna throw some, I have this desire back in 2022 to become an astronaut. Cool. So I start making preparations to become an astronaut. And now in 2024, as this meetup comes, and we've got Mercury retrograde, and we've got this square to Saturn right here, about ready to be exact. Now maybe I'm thinking, all right, what next actions do I need to take? Is my desire still there? Right? That's a question that Mercury can help with. And as I now look at the options in front of me of becoming an astronaut, what's real, what's not, sorting through all of these different gifts, all of these different options, is the decision that I made out of desire in Aries still valid in Gemini? Or do I need to change a couple of, it could still very well be valid. So what other things do I need to do next? What action and decision making is needed from me right now? This is coming again up in August. So these are things, and why I wanted to give this kind of broader look over the next couple of months, because we can begin to start thinking now, begin to start um, healing into the energy now with this. All right, let's take a look at this Saturn square, because obviously this is already budding. So the Mars conjunction is August 14th. The exact square with Saturn is going to happen on August 19th. So just 5 days away. So this is already something. And again, we will start to feel this square right away. It's going to be like a very low tone, but it's going to build and build and build until we get to this crescendo. So, wow. Okay. I my eye was not even close to being drawn on Jupiter and Gemini. My eye immediately went to this energy right here on the same day. Um, Holy cow. All right, so hold on. Let me make sure this is my Gemini. I'm like, pretty bird. Here we go. Okay, squaring Saturn. So let me get this off and let me actually show you this square. So here is Saturn down here in Pisces, squaring our good friend Jupiter right here, exact 17 degrees, 27 arc minutes. Saturn is retrograde. You can still see that Mars very much still has a voice in this meetup. He's only 3 degrees away from Jupiter and and the conjunction he just had with him. But this is a square of air and of water. Now, air and water. Think about those two elements. How do they work together? How do they complement each other? How do they combat each other? How do they press up against each other? Um, it's air and water is a very interesting mix, right? Like it can be really fun. You can blow bubbles when you're underwater, and that looks really cool. Air gets trapped in water. What happens? Like there's I just keep getting bubbles in my head, like just being underwater and blowing bubbles. I mean, we are in August, so pool time is definitely out there. So it's think through that air and water mixture and that dynamic and what happens. And how water and air are like how water turns into vapor, which is a gas, which then goes into the air, etc. But in order for that to happen, you have to boil the water. Saturn's good at boiling the water, especially with Mars here, and especially with this being a square. Water is going to boil. So this is just a little preview of August, and they're telling me to get some of these cards rolling. Saturn ain't playing nice no more. Like this square and what Saturn's going to come in and do, because again, remember, Saturn is all about this is where your gifts come in, but you got to do the work. So you've got to take the action. There's going to be pressure here to take the action. The water's going to boil, steam is going to rise. What is going to happen? Right? I just got the image of being in a sauna and like you want to fucking leave, right? You're like, holy shit, it is fucking hot, but you've got 5 more minutes to go. And this douche in a towel just keeps pouring fucking water on these rocks. What the fuck, bro? And all of this is going on in your mind. You're having all of this conversation in your mind, and you're like, I'm literally like, how many ways can I just like knock this dude out without going to jail? Like, what can I do here? All of this business, look, 7 of Rods. I'm telling you, there is going to be a lot of like, oh, it's on in your head. Got to defend something. Watch the need to defend. I've got to defend something. That never normally in communication, defending is normally not the way to go. You want to ask questions, not defend. But with Saturn here in this square, with Mars, like, bruh, nah. That could get a little tricky. So know that this is coming up. Um, Here we have the 7 of Rods, and no matter what, I can tell you right now, things are changed. Things have changed or are about ready to. Because what the other piece of this, and so this chart right here is for the square to Saturn. However, what you'll notice for those of you that, study charts like this, we are just right after the full moon. And this Aquarius full moon in August is fucking bananas. So I really think that having this come right after that moon, where something might have been electrically charged, something may have been drastic, fucking here's death, trampled on. Because if you look, we have algal Uranus square all of this energy square here. We have multiple T squares during this moon, which this is not a reading for the moon, so we'll get there when we get there. But this energy is drudging up things that we are already working on today in May, putting pressure on things that we are doing today in May. Drastic, oh, wait, this one, trampling all over shit again, activating this trample, activating this whatever this experience in the death card brought forward, activating again. Can you re-tap back into this higher insight. There's no need to defend. Ask questions. Things have changed. Period. All the things that you got up to this point, everything that you've been working on since May, all up for scrutiny, all up for grabs. There may need to be some changes, right? We're kind of no longer in this energy here. It's accessible. You can definitely access it, but it's in how you choose to access it. How you choose to look at this 7 of Rods. Um, all right. Yes, that is where we're going to leave it. I do have the 2 T-squares just in case anybody once is curious. And again, we will get there. This moon is huge. We will absolutely be talking about it. But the 2 T-squares are going to be with Venus right here, Saturn, Jupiter, and obviously Mars plays a part in that. And then the other one is going to be with the moon, the sun, and Uranus and Algol. So lots is shifting and changing in August. Lots. So that is, I think that is where we are going to end. Yeah, that's it. All right, let me put these cards down. We did it, y'all. That was awesome chart. Oh yeah, all of my drawings. Yay. Okay. So this is the point in the episode. We've done the chart chronicles. I'm going to ask you, if you find value in this information here today, to please hit that thumbs up or that heart and subscribe or follow and explore all of my other content that I have out there, whether that is on X, whether that is on YouTube, and even on Twitch if you follow Twitchy Tuesdays Live, where I do live tarot readings. Randomly, when I feel called, we'll obviously be doing a tarot reading for Jupiter and Gemini, but that is on my live channel only at Twitchy Tuesdays Live. All right, here we are at the end, my friends. And I end each episode always with the Twitchy tip of the week. This tip is random, comes completely to me through intuitive means. It can be quotes, as you see here. I've been on the quote vibe. Obviously, we're getting into Gemini season, so that makes sense. But I wanted to start off with first, and just even looking still at this energy that's present with Jupiter headed into Gemini, I want to make sure to just reiterate again and again. We are in an ebb and flow, entering into a storm. That is what 2024 is about. It is about preparation for what is to come through the harvest that we are bringing forth into this year. It is a year of harvest. I know that that sounds bizarre, right? Like we are we are about ready to go into a storm. A hurricane is a coming. And by the way, you get to harvest and have beautiful abundance and bounty this year. Look, I get it. When we get into Gemini, you'll kind of maybe hopefully understand more with that dualistic nature. Both things can be true. So we are entering into a storm. And when we go through the first half of the year, or when we going through the first half of the year, well, words, it was intense. This first half of the year was no fucking joke. It is not even close to what is coming up. Okay. That's not even just in this year. This is from now until 2030. Okay. This decade is an intense decade. Um, this moment right now, this Jupiter in Gemini, this moment until we hit August, this moment until we hit August, which then gets here, is a breather. Think about a hurricane, right? We get forewarning. We know something's brewing off the coast. That doesn't mean my day to day changes, but I know that there is something coming. I know there is a potential that I may have to evacuate, get prepared, whatever that is. Oh, look. Yep, hurricane off the coast. The wind started picking up. Okay, let me go bring my patio furniture in. Let me strap down my whatever that looks like. Let me put the cover on the pool, etc. Oh, the winds are continuing to pick up. Okay, we actually are going to have a hurricane now. Okay, we actually need to begin to like batten down the hatches. So, what I'm really feeling is this May, June, and July is getting prepared for the winds, not even the hurricane, just the winds that are announcing the hurricane that is coming, because the eye of the hurricane isn't until 2025 and 2026. It's about taking the necessary precautions. It's about, you know, having your go bag ready. It's about those sorts of things. It's about getting prepared. So take advantage of May, June, and July to really begin to harvest. Take advantage of the opportunity while you have it. That is the key to nature and harvesting. Take advantage of the time, right? Like we don't know when things are going to happen. Like for some reason I'm getting called. If this is resonating with you, go find a YouTube video about grapes being harvested. Fascinating at how one day, 1 hour, one natural event can either make or break a crop, can make or break a harvest. That can make it literally the best wine in the world, that a bottle will sell for tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars, or make it complete crap that, we serve daily because it's just a sap and wine at that point. So, I have two quotes here that I wanted to bring out because we are getting into masculine energy now. Again, not gender, but energy. And I think it is important as we get into 2025 and 2026 to begin to um, understand, if we don't already, what and how we work with our own masculine energy, and what and how we work with other people's masculine energy. So in 2025 and 2026, all of our outer planets from Jupiter all the way to Pluto are going to be in masculine signs. That is a big deal. Jupiter and Uranus will be in Gemini, Neptune and Saturn will be in Aries, and Pluto will be in Aquarius. So there is a lot of masculine energy that is coming up. Again, this is all about being prepared. And when I saw this quote by Harrison Butker, I thought it was perfect. I thought it really honed in on what Jupiter's bringing and what we need, where we're at. And then Graham Allen as well had tweeted this out the other day, and I thought it was phenomenal because Jupiter is truly all about faith. So here they are. Harrison Butker, be unapologetic in your masculinity. Fight against the cultural emasculation of men. Wow, I am butchering this. Hold on. We're still in Taurus, guys. As I'm recording this, we're still in Taurus. Hold on. Let me do the men out there actual justice. Be unapologetic in your masculinity. Fight against cultural emasculation of men. Do hard things. Never settle for what is easy. Saturn, Jupiter, Pluto, Uranus, Neptune, all key points here. Graham Allen, God never said it would be easy. Nobody should be telling you that this is easy. Humanity, being a human, is not easy. There is no faith in knowing. None. Oftentimes, blessings come after obedience. And that, my friends, is why Saturn is your gift giver and not Jupiter. There you go. That is where we're at. All right, everyone. May your days be filled with enchantment. Your nights be guided by the stars, and your spirit forever be in tune with the cosmic dance. Keep those third eyes open, my fellow Twitchy seekers. Until next time, blessed be and stay twitchy.
In the cosmic dance, where stars align, Milani guides us through signs divine, astrology secrets in the night sky, revealed in her sessions where mysteries lie. Twitchy Tuesdays, where the curious go. Tarot cards spread futures foretold in Milani's realm. Watch the magic unfold.